Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. It's Dare playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. And I'm going to be showing you 3 unique mods today that all go together really well. And they're all uploaded by the same mod author. That author is LoriAwesome. So, big props to this mod author. These are some cool mods and I definitely recommend them. So if you're interested, they will all be linked in the description. They're very easy to install and they're very easy to get the items in the game. You will have to have dev mode enabled because currently, at least as far as I can tell, the only way to get them is through console commands, but the console commands are very simple and I'll show you them here. So with that being said, we're going to be looking at the Crusader Armor II, the Teutonic Knight, and the Brunswick Extended Armor mods in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So, like I said, they are 3 distinct mods, but they do go together very well, so I recommend if you're going to get any of them, you get all 3 of them, because they are very complementary. So we're just going to go through them. I'll show you the items for these mods. I'll show you 3 different suits of armor out of just a ton of different combinations you could do. And I'll also show you the horse stuff and anything else. So let's just dive on into it. And we're going to start off with the Teutonic ones, or at least a combination of the Crusader 2 and Teutonic stuff that I used to get this suit of Teutonic armor. I think it looks really good. And if you want to role play as a Teutonic Henry in this game for some reason, which would be very interesting, given the geographic location and, Henry's background, it'd be very interesting for him to be a Teutonic Knight. But with all that being said, I think it looks pretty solid. So just going down and I'll show you what we have equipped on this one. We did choose to equip the Brunswick sword from the expanded mod. So it says a knight's sword. This is exactly what George the Lion of Wartenberg wanted. In the end, I made it according to the lost instructions. Has a minimum strength of 4 and agility of 6 to use, does a stab damage of 136, slash damage of 144, and blunt damage of 43, with a defense stat of 225, durability of 250, weight of 2.2 pounds, and a price of 1,827.9 groschen. Then I also equipped the Teutonic Knight shield, a shield with the emblem of the famous Order of the Teutonic Knights. This has a defense stat of 263, durability of 25, weight of 6.8 pounds, and a price of 356.7 groschen. So very simple loadout, but definitely pretty cool, and it's awesome to be able to see such a iconic emblem on a shield in this game. Then the armor that we have equipped for this suit of armor, again, everything that I'm using in this video is from these 3 mods. So we started off with the Crusader Gambeson, which is a white variant of the Noble Gambeson from the game. Then on top of that, we do have the Crusader mail chausses. I know a lot of people were very upset that the mail chausses were gone from KCD2. Well, they're back with this mod, so you can have chainmail chausses, which is excellent, I suppose, if that's something that you really cared about. Then we have the Crusader Mail Hauberk, the Crusader Mail Collar, and then all of the stuff on top of that is going to be the Crusader Armor. So we have the Crusader Coif 2, which takes inspiration from the Brunswick Coif, which also comes with that half helm, except this one also, I could show you by taking off the great helm here. You can see that this one actually brings the Mail Coif, or the Aventail, all the way up to the lower lip of Henry, which is more historically accurate, and that's how you'd want to wear that to get that extra protection, because you're not wearing a plate gorget, so you do want to have that mail coming up as high as possible to prevent people from just, sliding a sword under your helmet and killing you. But on top of that, we're wearing the Crusader Great Helm, which is just a modified Brunswick helm to take all of the ornamentation off it, so we have a traditional bucket-style Great Helm, which of course I know a lot of people love. It's very iconic. And then we just have the other Crusader Armor, which we'll be using a lot in these other armor sets, which is why I recommend all 3 of these mods together. So we have the Crusader Plate Arms, Crusader Plate Cuirass, Crusader Plate Gauntlets, and the Crusader Plate Legs. And all of these are just, reskins and stat changes of different armor pieces in the game, like the Crusader Plate Cuirass is a Milanese cuirass. So, nothing too crazy special here. The stats are all pretty phenomenal on these across the board. Pretty much everything in these 3 mods are going to have pretty solid stats. So if you download these 3 mods for the looks and everything, you're also downloading armor that has some of the best stats that you'll find in the game. I know it was with the Brunswick set. There's multiple different versions of that mod where you can get some of the stats just boosted incredibly. I didn't. I stuck with all the stock ones because I think that the heavy armor in this game is heavy enough and protects you to a pretty serious extent already. So outside of what we're wearing for this outfit, again, this is both the Crusader Armor 2 and the Teutonic sets kind of combined to get us this one suit of armor. There are other ones that come with it, other variants. So basically there's 2 distinct color sets for the Crusader armor. So we're wearing the white Crusader gambeson. They also have a black Crusader gambeson. And there's also different color variants for the Crusader coifs. There's basically a black variant for the high mail coif and the low variant, and then a lighter silver one for both as well. And then we do have a variant of the Great Helm that also has the gold cross instead of the darker blackish one that we're wearing. So taking a peek from the outside, this is what it looks like. Pretty solid looking suit of armor. I love how bright and white the hood and the Waffenrock are. They look awesome compared and contrasted to that dark black plate armor. I think that just looks real sharp. And again, that shield is iconic as heck. Not to mention the sword looks pretty sweet. So that's a very solid suit of Teutonic armor.
That's a good one.
And if we want to take a look at the horse tack added with the Teutonic set, this is what we've got here. So no horseshoes on this one. I believe there was maybe a smithing schematic added with one of these mods that added a specific type of horseshoes, but I just have the nobleman's horseshoes on them, I believe. But this is our saddle, chanfron, and comparison for the Teutonic set, and I think it looks pretty sweet. So if you want to roleplay, you gotta also make sure your horse is dripped out the right way too. So that is the Teutonic set. Let's move on to the next one from our mods that we're looking at today. And that next one is going to be an armored variant of the Brunswick Expanded, and I went with all of the black variants for this one. So we once again equipped the Brunswick sword, the one-handed sword, but this time I went with the Brunswick Knight Shield black, which adds in, you know, a plain black kite shield with the Brunswick crest on it on a black field. So definitely fits roleplay wise. Not a whole lot to say other than that though. When we look at what I decided to put together for this set, I was going for, since we had the Teutonic set already with the, you know, Teutonic Knights, I went with the opposites. So a lot of times your Teutonics and your Hospitallers are looked at that way, but we have the white on black variant of our Crusader for this one. So we still have the same basic base layer. I mean, we switched out the Crusader gambeson with the Crusader gambeson dark, just because we were going all black on this one anyway. But we still are wearing the Crusader mail chausses, Crusader mail hauberk. We have all of the Crusader plate armor on, and then we switched out all of the Teutonic stuff with the Brunswick expanded black stuff. So we have the Brunswick Waffenrock black, the Brunswick's mail collar, the Brunswick's hood black, the Brunswick Great Helm black, and the Brunswick coif up black. So it looks very, very similar to the Teutonic one, but obviously a different crest or coat of arms on there because we went with the Brunswick royal crest and, you know, black instead of white all around. So very, very similar feeling outfit, but very different in appearance. And in the same way, we swapped out the horse. So once again, no unique horseshoes here, but we have the Brunswick black chanfron comparison and saddle on, and it looks awesome. It's a really good looking horse tack set. Definitely looks extremely fancy. But taking a peek at the armor, this is our black variant of the Brunswick Expanded / Crusader set from these mods. So you can see once again we're still rocking that dark blackish plate armor, which I really, really like. I think it looks sharp. Definitely fits the whole Black Knight aesthetic. But now we just have our Brunswick's black Waffenrock and hood on. So only slightly different, or at least only slightly different in execution, but very, very different in appearance. So that's our second outfit. Now let's look at our third. And for our third one, since we're going kind of a more casual civilian variant where we don't have a helmet on, I did just decide to go with the Brunswick's longsword, a knight's longsword. This is exactly what George the Lion of Wartenberg wanted. In the end, I made it according to his lost instructions. Minimum strength of 3 and agility of 4 to use, stab damage of 159, slash damage of 152, blunt damage of 43, defense stat of 246, durability of 250, weight of 3.4 pounds, and a price of 779 groschen. So that's all I equipped here. It's just a plain looking longsword, but obviously, you know, it fits with it, and we get the fancy gold belt. Then for the armor that we're wearing on this one, we're not wearing any helmet, but other than that, it's still a fairly solid suit of armor. We're wearing all the same Crusader stuff, so all of the Crusader plate armor and mail armor, our mail chausses, and the white Crusader gambeson. Then I just went with the red variants of the Brunswick's Waffenrock, Brunswick mail collar, and the Brunswick coif down, which is I mean, you could call it a variant of Zizka's coif down, or it looks like the one that Captain Thomas wears at the beginning of the game when you first run into him. Definitely a shame that it's not a vanilla asset, because I love the appearance of having the chainmail coif, but having it down. I think that looks so cool when you're not wearing a helmet in the game, and it drives me nuts that they implemented it into the game but didn't make it a vanilla option for you to play with. But overall, this is one of my favorite ways to dress up in this game, as far as just making Henry look real cool, because you've got that full plate armor aesthetic, makes you look very noble, very warriorly, but you can still see his face. So I really, really enjoy this aesthetic, even covering up the plate armor with the Waffenrock. I love that. So looks really, really, really sharp. Once again, we have a unique set of tack for this suit. So this is also from the Brunswick Expanded mod, or extended. I keep saying expanded, but it's extended. So we once again just have another variant of the Brunswick's caparison, saddle, and chanfron, but you know, this one obviously is bright scarlet red with gold and white accents. So if anything, it just looks even fancier than anything we've looked at so far, and all of it has been pretty fancy so far. Looking at Henry's suit of armor from the outside, again, probably the best out of the three, at least in my opinion, because, you know, we're not looking so much like a crusading knight now. Now we're looking a lot more like a king, because it screams extremely fancy. For one thing, our longsword has that real sharp looking gold belt with, you know, it's a slightly reddish brown leather, but with big gold looking metal studs all around it. Then we've got, of course, our unique Brunswick's longsword, which is just very, very cool looking. It looks beefy. And then we still have our very nice looking black plate armor that was added with the Crusader Armor II, but now we have those red accents coming from the red Brunswick Waffenrock and the coif down, which again, like I said, I just love the way that looks. So that is our third and final suit of armor for this LoriAwesome mod collection. Again, like I said, all those links are in the description. Super easy to install. As far as the codes that you need to add these items once you have the mods, if you're playing on PC, there's just 3 simple ones if you want to add all of it. He also has some other some command codes listed on each mod page for if maybe you just want certain items, but I just went with the ones that added each one. So for the Crusader Armor 2, it's just Crusader_Armor_add. For the Brunswick Extended, it's Brunswick _extended _add _items, and then for the Teutonic one, it's Teutonic _Knight _add. So very simple, and you can get all of them in your inventory. You also get some crafting schematics with these mods. So we get a crafting schematic for the Brunswick Knight Shield, which gets added in under the Other tab, and I could have swore it added more than just one. Did I not read them, maybe? Oh, I didn't. There we go. So we also got a sketch for the Brunswick Knight Shield Black, the Brunswick's Longsword, and the Brunswick Sword. And there we go. So not only does this mod add in, you know, all this cool armor and weapons and stuff for your attack for your horses, but it also adds a couple extra things that you can craft. It's the Brunswick Sword, the Brunswick Longsword, and then the 2 Brunswick Knight Shields. So that is the LoriAwesome Crusader Knight / Brunswick Knight mod collection. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely think this is pretty cool stuff, and it has made my list of armors that I like to play with in the game. So that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.